Hello everybody, welcome back to another speed build. Today we are doing a city strip in San Myshuno. I think that's what I'm calling it, I don't really know. Originally, the idea for this build was actually just a coffee shop. And the one thing that this build does not end up having is a coffee shop. I started with one idea and then it just kind of got carried away. And then I really wanted a restaurant at some point, but this lot was really big. This went through a lot of different variations, but in the end, the main lot type that this is a restaurant. I wanted there to be sort of like an Italian, New York style restaurant with like street patio seating. And it is in the Spice District, I think that's what it's called. So this area is a little bit more grungy, so I kept that in mind when I was doing the other builds, or the other buildings that are on this lot. There is an alleyway that we get in just behind I think there ends up being 4 buildings on this little street. And then there's like a pretty grungy alley in the back. But this part here, this like main corner area, is the Italian restaurant. It actually kind of looks like the cafe that was in The Sims 3, like the rabbit hole, but that wasn't actually the original idea. But yeah, I was really excited to be able to use ladders and I could make like an actual fire escape, so I thought that was nice. There is a fire escape that you can use in debug. I just didn't really like the texture of it. I feel like it just looked a little bit fake. And also, I do apologize, I cut out a lot of footage of the exterior just because I kept going back and adding things in debug, and it takes me so long to find anything in debug, so yeah, you can see there's a big jump. But yeah, I think I go back again after when I do like the 4th building. I don't know, I was just having troubles finding the actual colors that I wanted to use. And then that building, the far one on the left there, that actually changes quite a bit again. I wanted it to be like a Vietnamese pho restaurant, but I wanted it to be a little bit dingy, because that's when you know it's good. At least from where I grew up, there was always like these hole-in-the-wall like Vietnamese restaurants, and they were so good, but they were just like a little bit dingy looking, and this was heavily inspired by the one that me and my friend used to go to literally like 4 times a week. So and then beside that extra building that I just added, that ends up being a laundromat, which is also pretty dingy. Honestly, the only nice part about this is the Italian restaurant. And then this, in the back, I was gonna do a basketball court, but I was like, yeah, you know what? We have eco lifestyle now, so I was like, I'm gonna do a community garden. Kind of spruce up the dinginess of everything else and just have like this beautiful garden in the back. And then I moved that food stall that came with eco lifestyle over to the right, and there ends up being like some picnic tables and stuff. And I think it turned out quite nicely. In an ideal world, I would have made that alleyway a little bit smaller, but I just didn't want to redo the garden again. And when I'm building, I always do everything twice, just so it's easier, except I didn't really do that with the exterior this time. That's why I kept jumping and cutting, because I just didn't know what I was doing. And then I also cut out me just adding the windows in the back, so if you're ever confused as to what's happening, I'm just cutting out boring stuff. But if you do want to see that stuff, feel free to let me know, and I can keep it in, but I just feel like it gets pretty repetitive. And then I was gonna use the eco lifestyle, the city living like garage doors that are already painted, but then I was like, let's give your Sims an activity in the back alley. So I end up getting, I think, 1 more garage door in there, but you can add graffiti to all of those, which is actually a really cool feature. I actually love city living. I think it's such a good game. And I also live downtown in the city, so I think this is a good representation of what living downtown actually looks like. I originally had the alley like quite dirty, but then I was like, maybe I'll just keep it to like a minimum. So I think this is pretty much as dirty as it gets. I do go back after I even film this and like cluttered up some more stuff. I always do that. I'll always go back to my builds and just add more before I upload, because I'll always find something in the catalog that I would like to add. But yeah, so this is the community garden that I was talking about earlier. Just get a lot of those, like, what are those called? I don't know vertical gardens, sorry. And then I did fill most of the planter boxes with like actual plants, that you can see what I'm doing here. But I did leave, I think, 2 or did I fill them all? Okay, I left 1 empty for your Sims to actually garden in, but they can also use the vertical ones too, so I just wanted it to make it look a little bit more full, but obviously feel free to remove the plants if you would like this to actually be usable. But yeah. And then for the Vietnamese restaurant also, I definitely was wishing that I had Snowy Escape, but because there's a lot of great, I know it's not Vietnamese themed, but there are a lot of great items that I think would have been applicable for that restaurant. And that restaurant's also not functional, so I didn't add a stove or anything in the kitchen or like the host stand, just to make sure that all your Sims were routed to the Italian restaurant and not the other one. I have yet to play test this yet, so I will go in and make sure that there's nothing funky happening, but it should be fine. So this is the pho restaurant that I was talking about. I wish we had like more Asian representation, at least in build and buy mode. It's pretty weak, which is why I was saying I'm really excited for Snowy Escape, because I think a lot of great items that I could have used here, but yeah, so I wanted it. It's dingy and gross on purpose, so if you're thinking this is really ugly, this is what it's meant to be. Yeah, and I think you can only actually get pho if you go to one of the food stalls. I'm not really sure if you can actually add it to a restaurant menu or not. And I mean, if you really want this to be the playable restaurant, you can change the stove and stuff around. So move it from the Italian restaurant, move it over here. The upstairs, so each building is 3 floors. Most of them are completely empty, but I actually added in an office above this one. It just looked like the perfect space. I used the Moschino windows, like the industrial looking ones, and I thought this would be a really nice like marketing or advertising PR agency office. I don't know where you guys live, but here marketing agencies always have like very trendy offices, and like there's an area where I live that's very industrial, but they always have like tons of marketing agencies, and they're always in like older buildings with like rustic wood floors and ping pong tables. And I just realized I could have added a ping pong table, but I didn't, so I might go back and add that because it's actually a pretty big space. But yeah, I think it just turns out pretty nice. But yeah, so this is the laundromat. How do you even say that? I don't even know. Those posters are from Strangerville. I don't really know what they would mean, but I just thought I'd add it. Oh yeah, and that little plaque, it has like a laundry basket on it with like sparks flying out. I don't know if that means like best laundromat in town. I have no idea, but that's kind of what I was going with. I don't know if your Sims can they do laundry on community lots? I've never really tried that out. Well, I guess I'll playtest this after. There was just a small window where I could actually record a voiceover, so that's why I haven't actually playtested anything yet, but I will go back and see what's happening. So this is the Italian restaurant, which is the main feature of this lot, and I really like how this turned out, actually. It wasn't meant to be like super fancy, but more so just like authentic, authentic Italian. And if you've ever been to New York, the restaurants are like pretty small, but like really, really good, and like brick walls, and that's kind of what I had in mind when I was building this. This is supposed to feel like very New York. And I don't know if you can hear that, but there's sirens literally going off in the background of this voiceover, so it's very fitting for the theme. Yeah, the kitchen part of this restaurant was really small, and I kind of struggled a little bit, and I actually apologize for the footage that I include because it's very jumpy. I've said this before, but I'm very, 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 very fidgety when I'm building. Like you can see there, I always like loop around a whole bunch of times. I don't know, it's like really weird. I don't know if anyone else does that, but I like can't stop. It's so strange. And I like went to town when I was doing the actual kitchen for this restaurant, so I thought about cutting it out, but I was like, I'll just keep it in. I actually really love restaurants in the game. I know everyone says they're really buggy, but I don't really find them that buggy. Like, yeah, it takes a long time to order your food and get the food. Like it realistically, I think it takes like 5 hours, which doesn't make sense in real life, but I don't know, I use them so much in gameplay. Like I just love taking my Sims to restaurants, so might have to do with the fact that I actually love doing that in real life, and I also work in a restaurant, so maybe that's why, but I'm not sure. So yeah, I wanted this to be like as realistic as possible because I have worked in restaurants since I was like 12 years old. Probably illegal, I'm not really sure, but yeah, I've seen a thing or two in the back of a restaurant, so I do bump out that wall and make the bathroom a little bit smaller because this kitchen was just like so small, and then you can see there, sorry for the jumpy footage. And I think we go back to one stove, yeah. And I believe I just add in a clipboard or something like a whiteboard, which is very common in restaurants. You always have like some sort of whiteboard in the kitchen area. which shows like what you're out of or whose section is what kind of thing. And then off camera, I do add a window, or do I add it in here? I don't even know. No, I do add a window in there and in the bathroom. So now we are moving upstairs into the marketing office area. I think I actually wasn't gonna include this. I did this afterwards just because I wanted to, and I was like, I don't know if anyone would even use this because you can't actually really do anything. But I guess you could like, since you can work from home in The Sims, you could come here and like work on your laptop. I don't know if that even works, but yeah. So I just really like how this little office turned out. It's very hipstery. I don't know, I wish this was my office, but currently also working from home, so maybe one day. But yeah, we got most of the stuff in here is city living. I think those couches are the craftable items, and that chair is just from the catalog, but it kind of looks like a crafted item. I wanted everything to look like, this isn't super like high end, like maybe they thrifted some stuff, or it's like a startup company, I don't know. But yeah, we could just get some desks in here and clutter those up with some like office looking stuff, magazines, books, and I think some of the plants from university, which are the perfect desk plants, if you ask me. University life had some good stuff, let me tell ya. And then the room off to the side, you can see there with the windows, that's kind of like the boardroom, and I think I just get like a long table with like a TV, and the TV is meant to just kind of be like where they would have presentations. But yeah, that's pretty much coming to the end of the build. I know it was a quick one, mainly because I just cut out so much stuff, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.